Hey everybody, welcome to Tinker Tuesday. So today we're going to go ahead and be going over the installation of a scope onto the, it's pretty much that Feyachi scope, right? For the EVO2 for indoor sniper setup. If you haven't watched the EVO2 unboxing yet, go watch that. It'll kind of like give you an idea of what the rifle we're dealing with. If you want to watch it's the good, bad or great, airsoft sniper scope is what we were ending up calling it. For that, it was going to be the bad or great sniper scope. It's the Feyachi 2 to 7 times zoom scope. You could go watch that unboxing. That's the scope. We are actually putting it on there. I'm of course using the mounts. So if you want to, this is our Tinker Tuesday. We're doing the installation of that. Coming up soon though, just to kind of give you an idea, we're going to be doing the suppressor tracer unit I decided to put on this. Along with that, why I put a canted sight. Honestly, it's just for fun. And then some other measurements will be coming up next week. So definitely stay tuned in for that. I hope you keep following. We're going to keep dropping videos. I'm hoping to at least do 1 to 2 videos a week. So we're hanging on from a thread. So definitely support, and we appreciate it. Like, subscribe, and enjoy the video.
So now, since I'm doing this didn't come with scope rings, which really kind of sucks. For this scope, it just may not end up being the right match, which I had a hunch about it, and the objective lens just isn't big enough. It's not getting enough field of view for a short range option. I thought maybe the 2 times would be acceptable, but just generally speaking, this just may not cut it. But I might as well put this on the rifle, that way we could at least see it, even though typically speaking, you gotta test it on the rifle. So yeah, why not go with an inexpensive option for my scope rings? So I wanted something that was usable for airsoft, that was good, and you don't need something crazy sturdy. It's not like we're putting this on a real steel counterpart. In any ways, it's not I'm shooting 308 or anything that would be needing a better scope ring. Just get something that's inexpensive. So yeah, but maybe like a 223. If you were putting this on a real steel, I would use these rings. It's so cheap, $16, and it fits on the rails quite decent. I should have. Could go get my tools, but no need to. This is actually the best way that I ever do scope rings, is to always use Allen key. Use anything else unless you have the proper torque. If you have a torque screwdriver or a torque, you want a specific torque driver for mounting a scope. You always want to use the correct torque. With me, I just keep it at hand tight. Just quarter past tight is what I always do when it comes to anything dealing with a scope. You will ruin a scope tube, and the objective. I've seen a lot of crazy things before with putting on scopes. People are just completely ruined, especially if it's a cheaper, inexpensive scope. You will ruin your reticle. It will completely you will not be able to zero it at all. It'll just be completely unusable at that point. And this is the only thing I don't like. It's a lot of screws. There we go. Okay, cool. Almost. One's just catching. Let me get this one right here. One more. There we go. Alright, now that we got that off, so now you just have this. This is what you want. Now you're going to take your rifle. Get somewhere nice and steady. Alright, so we're going to decide where we want this. You definitely don't want your mount to, mess up where the hop-up is. So I don't mind if this is actually on this side. I want to have as much usable rail space as possible left over. but we also want this to kind of be in a good spot. So that would be perfect, you know, that looks good. But I want more rail space options. So if I go there, let's see what it looks like going the other way. Either way, it's going to put it at the same spot. So that's unfortunate in some ways, but it is what it is. So we go there. And is there any way to get these on there? I don't think there is going to be. Just it's not high enough, unfortunately. It didn't raise it high enough. Okay, that may work. Right there. That's as far back as we can go, and I don't think we're going to be able to fit this on the front. That's the only thing. Yeah, this is exactly what I thought. So, just slightly, it does work. It's not going to be completely on that Picatinny. I'm going to have to get an extension going forward, and that's what I was thinking. So that's as much as you can put on this rifle, which was what I was wondering for the EVO2. Is pretty much, this is what Tinker Tuesday is all about. This is so exciting. Right here is just understanding, you know, what options do you have to really work with on this rail space. So yeah, the EVO2, this is kind of the first tinkering with this. We'll do multiple tinkerings with this rifle. This is gonna be the main focus. But you can see right here on this Picatinny, right here, I could just slide that off right now if I wanted to. I'm not going to. It's on there pretty good, but it's not in a Picatinny slot. That screw is not actually in there. I'll bring it close to the camera. Maybe I'll get it. You kind of see. You see how you have your slots, right, for your Picatinny? It's not actually in a slot. It's just on the rail space, clamping down with torque, with pressure, which is fine. I mean, for what it's doing, you know, having canted iron sights. It's just really for aesthetics more than anything. Plus, if I'm using those iron sights, someone's gonna be so close, I'm probably just gonna hit them anyway. So it's like not that big of a deal. So yeah, I mean, that looks pretty cool so far already. And that's really what Airsoft's all about, right? It's just really for aesthetic pleasure more than anything. I hate to say that sometimes, but that's the honest truth. That's just how it is. Oh, and that's protruding right there as well, so it's a little messed up, a little silly in some ways. But yeah, I mean, hey, you know, it is what it is. It would probably fit if I did it on this side better. So I could put it, and you put candid sights on either side. Some people say that you need to, you know, you need to have it on the right side, and it makes more sense. You could have it on either side. If you could perform, it's best to have it on the right side if you're a righty. It's best to have it on the left if you're a lefty. The reason I say that is because when you bring up your rifle, it's already here, and so the candid sight is there. But if you're really going to use a candid sight and you go sideways, you can still make this work. It's either one's fine. And the good thing about having it on the left side is when you're shooting, it's going to come inward. So you're coming from your right side of your arm to your center. So in a way, for trajectory, it makes more sense. Now for transitions, I'm going to transition from my right side, which is why most people have it on their right side. But you could do it. I've done it on, I've had candid sights on real firearms. And I've used it before on both sides. You could use it on both sides, no problem. A lot of people prefer it on one side over the other. See, if you're rocking a red dot, this wouldn't matter because you wouldn't need both. So you could definitely rock a red dot, but getting it to fit right there would be an issue. So anyway, just for kicks and giggles, we'll see. That's the only thing. It's really more my can'ts. Because it has that extension, it's going to be off on one side or the other, which happens. So I may just go back to having it on this side for right now. As far back as we can have it. making sure that those cannon sights aren't gonna mess up. So what I did is I had to loosen the cannon sight, right, to make sure that I could tighten the scope as far down as it can go, hand tightening, because you don't want that scope to be lined up, you know, pretty much set up to get messed up from the cannon sights. The cannon sights are second to importance to the main sight, right? So we have a little bit of wobble there. It's not gonna make full contact with that continue rail. If I move it up, it'll make better contact. It's not perfect, because like it's not in those slots, but if I go right there, it'll be decent, but it may push that off. So we definitely don't want that. That's gonna be bad accuracy. I mean, not that, you know, once again, Airsoft's decently accurate, but that's just gonna be how that works. See, that's just not good. So note to self, if you're gonna want to put something on here, you're gonna want something that goes higher than just the norm. You're gonna want that they go higher so you could actually utilize more underneath your scope. But I mean, where this is at right now, that's about where a natural scope height is. Yeah, not the best, not the worst. I think it's livable. Can I still get to the hop up though? That's the only issue. See, I blocked the hop up by doing that, so that's no good. That's no good. See, that's the only thing I don't like with this design, yo. Like, they just kind of, it's a little bit of oversight there on someone's part by putting the hop up right on the top. Because the second you put an optic there, it's gonna cover it up. That looks silly. That doesn't protrude. Does that look decent? Looks decent. If I bring it back all the way back, can I put what I need? Need this right here. So I'm prioritizing this build. I'm reprioritizing it off the most important thing, which is going to be pretty much protecting this site, right? And then also allowing me to access the hop up. So you would definitely want to use a rail extension for this. So that's your option there, because if you're going to do an indoor sniper, you're going to want to have this bad boy right here, regardless. So that works. That works. Does it look silly? A little bit. That hits that. If I take this cap off, does it hit it? Either way, I think we're gonna have to put these adapters on here. So let's see if we put these adapters. Does that work? It does. It does, it does, it does. Barely. It almost wants to touch right there, so it doesn't though. Alrighty. Let's doable. All of this is doable. This prioritizes the sight. It looks decent. All right. The only thing I don't like about these scope rings is how these adapters are. These adapters aren't the best, but they'll do. It seems like I'm just constantly complaining. I don't mean to. It's just, you know, you get what you get and you don't pitch a fit, but sometimes I have the right to pitch a fit. Some might say, but it doesn't mean you should. Alright, cool. That color does really look good. You may not care about aesthetics, but that general like little hint of color, you know, looks pretty decent. Alright. So now, about tightening this, you always cross. Crisscross, 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 crisscross. So we reprioritized, you know, after all said and done. Like I said, those candid sights were just more for aesthetics anyway. I just had to give them up, which is unfortunate, but it's what you gotta do if you want to have a good build. I had to give it up. We may be able to reincorporate those candid sights. Actually, let's see. Those candid sights like this. Would that work? Would I be able to do that? Would that make sense? Probably not, but you could put a red dot, you know, canted like that. You know, that gets a little cluttered right there. So I may put it on the left side. But I mean, hey, you could do something like that. That still gives you, you know, your room on the top. Is it the greatest look? No, but it's doable. It's livable. You can live with it. Crisscross, crisscross, crisscross. You always want to go in a crisscross pattern. I know I've said that like a couple times. Crisscross pattern is super important when putting on scope rings. I would put all the outside ones on first if I wasn't rushing, but I want to just make sure I put this on. Okay. You just get down to where you feel the thread's almost done turning, and then we'll tighten it later once we maneuver the scope. Cool. Cool. It really is a cool look though. I mean, this rifle's gonna look pretty badass once I'm done with it. For the first Tinker Tuesday with this build, I have to say I'm quite ecstatic. We already got the bipod on there. That was already kind of just done for the video's sake, so I have a way to hold it. And a bipod's a bipod. It's a sling attachment bipod. If you need to figure out how to do that yourself if you're having a hard time. It takes a little bit of finesse. Alright, just a little tight, not quite. That one had a lot to turn. Alright, I just want to make sure they're not loose. None of them are loose. That's good. Alright, so that's what we got so far. Pretty good look. I'm liking it. There's your cants, right? Does it make perfect sense with that being there? Not exactly. You know, you really want it lower to where the barrel's at. It doesn't make the perfect sense for it to be here. I mean, that's really, you're leading that way too much. Is that not quite even? Huh, interesting. Those rails might not be perfectly lined up because the canted are canted. I don't know if you can see that. Interesting. I'll have to play around with that and see where that's going wrong. Just for kicks and giggles, I'm gonna take these off just so we see how this all looks. Interesting. It actually, scope seems to be one. See, this is why it's so important to put the scope actually on the rifle. It looks much better when it's on the rifle. It wouldn't be my first choice, you know, usually. It's actually a really nice zoom. Definitely would want to get a better throw lever for that, but not too bad. It probably would stay on 2 anyways. So that's a pretty nice look, and that's, you know, that's a good looking setup that would be decent for indoor. May not be the best optic for you, but it looks nice. I can see myself, you know, pulling up with this. So it looks like we need to tighten it a little bit. We're getting a little bit of wobble back and forth. There it is. There's our wobble. That takes care of that. And let's just see what our space is up front, just to fill it out. This one would go here. Would that one fit? No, it wouldn't fit if it went there. Let's see if it went. If it went on this side. So it could potentially, yeah, you just lose out on a lot of rail space in my personal opinion. I mean, that's not really, you know, once again, it's just not really needed, but I would probably put it there. Then you could put like a red dot here. It's probably what I would do. See, do I want to do that? Oh, look, you could do. I could do this. Take a red dot, and we'll throw that on the side right here. Does that work? Not quite. So that doesn't work. No canted action there. Could do it like that. Does that make logical sense? Does that work? To some, they would say this is ridiculous. I'm one of those people right now. That does not work. So it would have to go there. And if it went there, that would not work because of that's location. See, everything, this is why tinkering. So it just, this does not configure because that gets in the way. I think you could definitely make something canted work. Just right now is not. See, having just like a little bit of rail extension right here would have been smart. But we're trying to do a lot, right? And see, that almost would have worked right there, but can't. And the reason we're not putting something on top is because we want to put our scope cams on top, right? But potentially, I mean, you could put something right on top. It doesn't work because we need just a little bit more space. I guess I could move this back, right? We could move that back, but then now it's going to mess up some of that alignment. So if we really wanted to have a candid action, that's how far that needs to be back, and that works. It doesn't work with that location. Yep. So we're at a loss. No canted sights set up. Still haven't been able to successfully get that build completed. It has not been unlocked. But I'm sure if we turn it around this way, you might have had some extra options. But then if you turn it around that way, you don't get to have that sight protector, which you absolutely need for this. It's a must-have for this build. So you just really have to have that. It needs to be changed?
No, I'm gonna put this one on. This episode is good.
Ready? This is far up as we could put it with that. So, unfortunate or fortunate, that is as much as you get. But the good thing is, our sight protector can fit, our main scope can fit, nothing is protruding the bolt. The bolt is good. So for a general build for indoor, that's pretty much everything you need for a indoor bolt action. It gets the look across. If I could choose a one-time option in the same look, I would. But beggars can't be choosers when it comes to what you're trying to build. Sometimes, if you can get exactly what you want, then cool. If not, then 2x zoom is what you're gonna have to go with. But it's pretty cool. I like it.